Hey, move over Christmas in July because here comes Halloween, and in a big way.
You heard about this?
Yeah.
This is Trunk or Treat by Jeff C. Carter from We Bleed Orange and Black. Sharon knelt down and fussed with Dylan's goggles. But Mom, I want to go out. Her son emphasized each word by stamping his feet. Sharon usually found public displays of sass to be infuriating, but today it was almost adorable. Dylan was dressed in little overalls and painted tangerine yellow like his favorite cartoon character. Still, she hated those insufferable movies. We are going to have fun. It was not a suggestion. She dragged him toward the parking lot. Her friend Janet waved, dragging a petulant child of her own. Happy Halloween, Janet shouted. Oh my gosh, Dylan, you look so cute. Dylan shared a sour look with Josie, his fellow captain. She looked equally helpless despite her perfect superhero outfit. I think it's over here. It should already be started. They turned the corner into a narrow parking lot. It looked like a tailgating party for Halloween. Masked grown-ups stood posted at the bumper of each car, handing out candy from their trunks. Costumed kids darted back and forth, spilling cups of popcorn and towing assorted balloon animals. Dylan and Josie, who had been dragging their feet seconds before, looked up at their mothers with pleading puppy dog eyes. The moms laughed. Just stay where we can see you. The kids raced across the blacktop. This is nice, isn't it? Sharon sighed. She and Janet strolled among the rows of cars. Each trunk was open and decorated with its own theme, from white sheet ghosts and arching black cats to elaborate sets styled like popular movies and kids' shows. I just think this is better than walking through traffic at night or sending Dylan up to some stranger's house. Janet stuffed her cheeks with popcorn. I know, right? I try keeping up with Josie after she's had a pound of sugar. Never again, I swear. An old Cadillac with a trunk full of dangling rubber bats and spiders was blasting Tim Burton's greatest hits from its speakers. The skeleton mask-wearing driver handed them each a ticket. There was going to be a raffle, a vote for best car, a costume contest, and so on. If they were lucky, both the kids and their parents would be going home with goodies. Dylan was having a total meltdown this afternoon. He said this was fake Halloween. Janet grabbed her arm. One of the other moms in my group actually gave me shit about this. Can you believe it? She said Trunk or Treat robs kids of their independence. Hello, who made the costume? Who gets stuck carrying Josie when she's too tired to walk up a hill? Independence, my ass. Sharon took another raffle ticket. It's not that we don't trust our neighbors or the community or anything. I mean, this is a community event. I think it's even a church thing. A clown honked the ball with an old-fashioned horn. He wasn't a clown from one of those dreadful movies, but a popular clown with a curly rainbow wig. Attention, please. We're ready to announce our winners. Children, come up to the front and bring your parents. Dylan and Josie appeared at their sides with candy-stained grins. The women ushered them forward while scrounging in their purses for tickets. The clown's white gloves hovered in the air for silence. The children were all suddenly still and quiet, save for the restless squeaking of balloon animals. Sharon felt the owners of the cars lining up close behind him. The clown's mouth stretched to the corners of his red grease paint smile. Now! It went dark. Sharon brushed popcorn off her face and sat up. The movement made her skull throb. Someone screamed, Josie! Where's my Josie? Sharon blinked. She was surrounded by wailing parents in an empty parking lot.
The spooky season is here, and plenty of you are probably already getting your Halloween decorations ready.
My story was inspired by Ray Bradbury's The Halloween Tree. I think I really captured the voice in the beginning. By the end, it kind of got away from me. I call it Fire Burned Candle. There was more town than wilderness around in the far-flung future of the modern age. On the other hand, there still wasn't so much town that you couldn't smell and touch and see the wilderness, in your mind's eye at least. In a weathered house, a withered hand lit a pumpkin, and another, then another, and yet one more, until 4 there were, all in a grinning row, their ghostly smiles the only illumination in the home which hid away in the full moon shadow of a small neglected church in a northwest corner of a Midwest state. The man to whom the hand belonged next carefully framed within each spray of light the snakeskin sheddings of a childhood gone but not forgotten, remnants of a distant past where magic was the order of the day and bargains could be struck to shake the pillars of heaven and earth, Halloween costumes, which carried in every fiber and twist the true names of they that wore them, witch, mummy, monster, ghost, and last, the skeleton, bones that now, despite the costume's experience, were fresher and springier still than those the man wore in his everyday life. He held those old clean bones up, breathed the ancient memories, year after year, of dry leaves, corn stalks, and popcorn balls. He breathed it in inside, wind in the dry grass. The clock struck the end of the hour, and thus the end of the old man's yearly vigil. Through the dry grass he forced 4 more breaths, extinguishing one by one the pumpkins that wore the faces of his friends long gone. Out went the witch. "Ready," said the man. The mummy flickered, its light turned to dust. "Set," he continued. The monster growled its last, and only the ghost remained. "Go," he lamented, and the ghost evaporated, plunging the home into grave darkness. As he turned away, a not altogether unexpected thing happened. A soft orange glow relit the room, smiles widening and eyes winking across the walls. The man turned to find the pumpkins burning, and there in the row was a 5th, staring back at him with the midnight face of the man in the mirror. And above that pumpkin, lit from below, a face older than his own, older than the earth, and yet young as morning, impossible and terrible, yet lovely too. "I won't be going," the man whose face the pumpkin parodied said, the defiance of youth returning to his old bones. The shadow thing stepped forward and paused, surrounded on all sides by a circle of salt. He arched an eyebrow, spider silk in dry lake bed. "Come now, it's only business." And as he said it, he stepped forward, unhindered and unabashed as the spice made way. The old man gave a start, but had another trick up his sleeve. With the pull of a cord, a beaded curtain of rosary leapt from the corner, forming a wall between he and the spirit. But the spirit was unmoved. He passed through the curtain with a flick of a wrist. Now, now," he murmured, "this really will not do." Then the final safeguard fell into place as the clouds parted and the full moon cast the shadow of the church spire full force into the little parlor. Wafts of dust sped aside and cobwebs reeled tightly, and the man who was not a man for the first time caught his breath. He let it out again, an icy draught over headstone teeth, and took a seat in the armchair far outside the shadow. He crossed one stick leg over another and tented the points of his crackling fingers. "I haven't all night, you know." "You took them from me, one by one," the man said, having waited for this moment, an endless year that passed in an instant. "Their rent came due," the apparition croaked. "And him you took, only 4 years later. If I remember correctly, and I always do, for my memory runs deep as time, 4 years were given. 4 years from the end of 4 children's lives, to save the 5th from my clutches on that Halloween night. What else could you have expected?" "More," the old man sighed. "Think of the adventures you had. 4 more winters conquering mountains, 4 summers in the tall grass, 4 more Halloweens, and a great many beyond for the rest of you." And the old man did think. Lakes, forests, hot chocolate and snowmen and wood fires burning, the families and the children's children swirling through time and flowing on, how the witch moved on, the monster and the mummy, arms encircled, tears feeding the brown grass of faded summers. He remembered it fondly and with great aching, new tears watering parchment hands. It was all over so quickly. "The great irony of a life long lived," the spirit said, pinpoints of pumpkin light twinkling in his midnight eyes. "I want it back," said the old man, weariness creeping into his old bones again. "Think of what I could do with 1 more year." "Nothing much of consequence," the old haunt cackled, and gesturing to the pumpkins. "Did the witch, or the mummy, or the monster? They laughed with me. And they shall again, now that your rent is due." The old man ran his eyes over the low burning faces, and out through the window at the clouds moving to cover the moon once again. The spirit continued. "But you can't go like that. Inappropriate for such an occasion, I'd say." And the old man found that the old new bones fit him once again. He slipped them on, and with them the memories, the spark, and all that made life grand and good. "Will we have just one more adventure like we did so long ago?" the old man asked, the boy fighting through with all his might. "Of course we shall, my dear friend," said the ghoul, standing and shaking the years from his cloak. "The last grand trick-or-treat." The man stepped boldly from the shadow of the church, stepped from the shadow, and opened the door, and he and his friend went out into the crystal night. As they did, the cemetery wind wound round their ankles and flew around the house, taking final stock of the memories there and cleaning out the corners for new memories to come. Its final stop was the parlor, and as it passed, it brought the light of the pumpkins with it, for the pumpkins were finished, and their light was needed elsewhere.
Is it too soon for spooky season?
Well, let me ponder this morning over my pumpkin spice latte, Marissa, and I will let you know.
Sugar Pills by Jeff C. Carter. John slouches on a park bench, twiddling an orange leaf between his fingers. A squirrel tentatively approaches, hoping for food. John sighs. No costume, no candy. The squirrel shuffles off in disappointment. John squints at the clouds, staining everything a somber shade of blue. Even the leaf in his hand appears dull and muted. It starts to drizzle. He pulls up his gray hoodie with another sigh. Hey, John. A pale man in a slender black and white striped shirt sits next to him. What's wrong? John shrugs. I'm just not feeling it this year, you know? I don't have a costume. Not in the mood for horror movies. His friend leans in. Didn't carve a pumpkin? Haven't made Halloween plans? It happened to me, too. You may be suffering from hyposalmonism. John looks confused. Hyposalmonism? It's a condition commonly referred to as low Halloween spirit, but treatment is available. Ask your doctor if Octobrex is right for you. He hands John a triangular, tritoned pill. This is just a piece of candy corn. His friend pops it into John's mouth and pulls him off the bench. Octobrex is a different kind of treatment. Take control of your spooky season. He briskly leads John into an upscale office, stopping only to lean over someone's shoulder, point at their monitor, and nod. John looks around. Do you work here? A rugged man in a hard hat presents a large set of blueprints. His friend taps them, and they both nod in agreement. John tries to peek at the blueprints, but his friend pulls him to the emergency exit. Experience the power of Octobrex. The rain has stopped, replacing the blue gloom with a glorious fall sunset. Bursts of gold and crimson leaves fill the sky and swirl around them. They hop into an orange convertible and drive past orchards full of happy families picking apples. His friend shouts over the crisp rushing wind, Imagine the spooktacular possibilities! Chills, thrills, girls in cat costumes! They park at the beach, where costume party's in full swing. John and his friend grab a pair of stand-up paddleboards and race to the sea. They glide over the water surface together. John smiles. Thanks, man. I was bummed out. Maybe I will go out this Halloween. A whale breaches next to them. Jesus! Its gargantuan black tail rises from the water, displaying bright orange letters that spell Happy Halloween. It slaps the water and disappears. John frantically points, nearly losing his balance. Did you see that? The bow wave carries them to shore, but somehow their paddleboards continue skimming over the land until they are surfing across a pumpkin patch. What the hell is happening? A swarm of hot air balloons descend. They are decorated like jack-o'-lanterns, witch faces and skulls. Wild-eyed revelers dangle for them, frothing at the mouth with orange drool. What was in that pill, man? What did you do to me? A scarecrow twists on its post and mutters. Side effects of Octobrex may include fake bloodstains, holes in sheets, cavities, waxed teeth, plastic fangs, witch fingers, cold spots, moderate to severe spooktaculars, jack obesity, Draculon, Blaculon, zombitis, neck bolts, restless spirit syndrome, ectoplasmosis, tremors, graboids, exorcistic acne, hocus strocus, popcorn balls, Hitchcock, fun-size kidney stones, necronomic constipation, Dutch Elm Street disease, Michael myocardial infarction, spooky scary scoliosis, Teen Wolf tuberculosis, peeled grape eyeballs, the 7-day itch, lamagraines, thinning veil, Nosferatu tumors, free-roaming vapors, heart of Damballa, Transylvania twist, you'll die if you try to fight us, Leatherface, Pinhead, closet throat, Brundle flu, Coronavirus, Kiki, Mama Alaria, loose or runny Babadooks, Blair Witch projectile vomiting, one-eyed, one-horde flying purple priapism, Angus scrim, I'll be right back spasms, Black Lagunaria, Wolfman nards, slender manic depression, be my victim potence, meteor shits, pumpkin guts, tender lumplings everywhere, head collapsing into a pile of bugs, and in extreme cases, death by stereo. John shrieks and tumbles off his paddleboard. The Halloween fiends surround him. John pleads, I thought you were my friend. Please, stop. We can't, his friend laughed, gorging on fistfuls of candy corn. Halloween is addictive. His pupils dilate, eclipsing his bloodshot eyes until they are entirely black. The veil drops from our eyes upon the solstice. We see monsters in the darkness and the dead among the living. We must appease them with sacrifice, for now is the time of harvest. The drooling throng raises their sickles and pounces. Spatters of blood fly into the air, mingling with falling leaves. A full moon, orange and radiant, is streaked by a flock of bats that form the word Octobrex. The scarecrow whispers into the wind. Seek immediate medical help if you experience a funk lasting more than 40,000 years.
And I'm with you. If it's too hot for a pumpkin spice latte, it's too early to talk about anything Halloween.
No, it's not.